everybody, and thank you for being here with us on Must Be Nice with Kyle Adams and Chad Johnson. It's weird when people walk by when I'm doing an intro. I'm Kyle Adams, that's Chad Johnson over there, and special guest this week from the Salem comedy scene, all the way from, what is it, Kentucky or something weird?
Yeah.
It is Kentucky or something weird. Cool. Lars Soderlund, everybody.
Hey. Yeah, I was really feeling the conversation about Florida in those early episodes. I was like, yeah, it's really sort of southeast.
Our people.
Yeah, it means a lot.
Yeah. So where do you fall on the like scale of happy about that part of your life and where you lived versus because I loved it the whole time and I miss it. Kyle didn't have a great time in Florida.
Yeah, man.
It's Kentucky, so that's
Kentucky's a little different. I have real mixed feelings actually. It's like, it's a bunch of different categories. Like, I mean, the worst part is it got cooler when I fucking moved away, right? Like I lived in goddamn Dayton, Ohio. There's like 30 breweries there, like microbrews. They make a bunch of artisanal shit. Like at a certain point in the last decade, any city of a certain size became really dope. And like all the places I lived that were so fucking cheap to live in are now like actually pretty cool. So, I mean, it's still gentrified, but like, it's like there's other good stuff. But I don't know, man. Like I still don't know. Chad and I, you and I have been talking a little bit about punk rock stuff, right? And like rebelling against things. Although I think I might have. I don't know if were you in. I'm asking you about punk rock every time we talk now. But were you into punk rock in Florida, or was it later?
No, not really. I was into rap. The rap that was kind of circulating, little Bone Thugs and Harmony. It's kind of coming from there out.
Yeah, that's great.
Nice. Oh, I love Bone Thugs, dude. I was into kind of the heavy metal scene and the like. I guess they would classify it as hardcore, but it was all over there was so many different genres of it. And I went to a lot of church shows in Florida, like in Ocala area. There's a lot of bands that started out of Ocala area, like Under Oath and a few other.
Under Oath. Those
Under
fucking dorks.
Well, they're like 3 different bands though, because they've had so many different members basically. But their original band was like super Christian, and they were like singing about sins and shit.
Wait,
and
was that the band name?
Indie pop, like their indie pop album was like the really popular, or indie pop metal, I should say. But I saw some crazy shit, but always the craziest shows in Florida were always at churches. Like the metal shows, like the roughest metal shows were in churches, and that was always so weird to me. Like I got
I can see that.
Like,
beat up in churches. Were they active churches or they were former churches?
They were active churches. Wow. That they were just like, oh, this band 7 Star is coming in, and I'd always want to be close to the pit, but I didn't always want to be in it. I wanted the option to see it and see the band, because I liked seeing the pit and the band at the same time and how it synced up. But as a big guy, I got pushed into the pit a lot, and I got pushed into the pit at 7 Star, and I got punched in the face like immediately. And
Jesus.
I was like, dude, I'm not going to a fucking church show again. Like the 3rd time I've gotten hurt pretty bad just trying to watch a band.
God, that sucks. So yeah, I don't know, like. Yeah, so you could say if it's similar with hardcore, but like I was calling bullshit on everything, some of which might not have deserved to be called bullshit on. Like I still to this day can't tell if Kentucky's cool or not. Like marijuana's been the #1 cash crop in Kentucky forever, but there's still a lot of racism. But then some places in the South are actually more integrated than Oregon because of the former slavery thing. People just learn how to deal with each other, like racially. So I don't know. It's like all this, it's just different here versus there versus.
Yeah, it was weird coming to Oregon after living in Florida and California before that, because I just came here and I was like, wait, what? I don't get this at all. This is weird. And then, to learn about that whole ecotopia thing is really interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, and it's relevant to the conversation about drinking, right? Because like people fucking drink in Kentucky.
Absolutely.
I mean, in a state that's like the bourbon is like that's like a primary draw. It's just hard to imagine not drinking. So that kind of changes the calculus too.
Yeah, I drank like crazy in Florida.
It's just what you do. It's like a whole thing.
That's where I drank and did my drugs.
That's where drugs come from.
I took notes. I took notes somewhere in the early episodes, man. The yeah, that oh, I mean, well, there's a bunch of stuff, but that orange piss you had after you were wherever you had the orange piss. It was something.
Bladder
Oh,
infection?
yeah, to get over
Or
your
urinary
UTI.
tract?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was great.
Wait.
I love that.
Did that happen to Kyle also? Or was that
No,
okay?
I don't know.
I
That
was gonna say,
Kyle.
I was like, I hope that didn't happen to me. I don't remember.
No, that was definitely me.
Yeah, no, Kyle, one of my favorite things is that early episode where you're like, you two are talking about the stuff that you did with the money you saved once you stopped drinking, and Kyle just like casually like bought a car. Like, this is so incredible.
It really, dude. I was literally like, I started drinking because I was riding TriMet. I started drinking more at least, and I was like, all this money I've been drinking, I could have bought a car. So I've extended my TriMet. Like it was literally like feeding itself. Like I was drinking because I was riding the bus, and then I was not being able to get a car because I was drinking. It was a whole fucking vicious cycle.
So
then I realized, oh, I should stop, and then I saved up money. Yeah, I bought a car like July of last year.
Congratulations, that's huge. Yeah, I don't know, like, and then actually, like, the idea of like public transportation, drinking, and just the sort of paradise of never having to drive, so you never have to worry about DUIs. It fed into the thing that you mentioned a few times, is that thing about like how delicious it is to be intoxicated and nobody knows.
Oh,
And that's
I love
like,
that.
you know what I mean? It's just so. But there's like, I wonder if that only happens with people with addictive personalities. You know what I mean?
So
Because that's a real specific thing.
Lars, with you, I don't know if I've ever noticed you being drunk. Have you ever been drunk around me?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
and high, like super high. Have you ever noticed that?
No.
So yeah. At some point, my wife said that. She's like, I can't really tell when you're intoxicated, and I'm and like a little piece of me was like, oh, I'll remember that for later. And then like,
yeah, for sure.
I don't go nuts, but like sometimes it's just like fuck everything. Then like there's this movie. There's actually. This would be an interesting watch along or something, but there's a movie that just came out with Mads Mikkelsen called, man, it's like Bottoms Up or something. That's not what it's called, but it's a Danish film, and these old friends are having like problems in their lives, and they say, oh, there's this philosopher who says we're all about 0.3, no, whatever. We have a lower natural blood alcohol content than we should. That's just this kind of jokey philosopher thing. So as an experiment, they all decide to get a little drunk all the time. And it goes so well, they decide to get like super drunk all the time, and then their lives fall apart, right? But like, it's that same thing, right? Like, oh, well, there's something wrong with me. Maybe I could be a little more normal if I was a little more intoxicated. And that's, for me, that's the most dangerous thing, right? Because then it's like doing it all the time and all the lines get crossed. And that's what I worry about the most, I think.
Yeah, when it becomes like returning to normal.
Yeah. Yeah, you end up rationalizing it because you're like, oh, well, today was so much easier because of my secret move. no one knows about my secret move I did. Like, it always felt like, I always liked it. It was like literally like, oh, I'm sneaking whiskey into work in my stomach.
Dude, you feel like James Bond.
Yeah, I did. I remember like, I would literally, there was a liquor store across the street from Red Robin. And I hate Red Robin was the worst job I ever had. I would literally come in hammered. And the thing that was really bad was it got reinforced because I would get good reviews when I was drunk. Like I would get, people would be like, he was the most attentive server we've ever had. And it was just because I was hitting all my bases because I didn't want anyone to see me fuck up when I was drunk. So I was like going like beast mode or something. It was weird.
Oh yeah. Well, or the time like you get in, like for me, I remember I've been lucky, Kyle, you talked about being like a high bottom or like a soft bottom or whatever, like in terms of bottoming out. And that was my experience too. For years, because my parents drank a lot. Well, my dad struggled with it a lot. My mom was kind of willing to give it up when she was fucking pregnant with me. And then like my dad kind of didn't give it up till he like had a DUI, got sober, came out of the closet it was like a 3-year span. Which props to my dad. I didn't realize later how rare it is. Well, not rare, but how it doesn't happen to everybody that you get a DUI and go to prison and say, I shouldn't drink anymore. Like that's not the natural path, that everybody takes.
Yeah, it's more just find other ways to do it without getting caught.
Yeah. Or well, and working in food service, right? I mean, the Red Robin is like perfect, right? Like every person in like not every, but the number of people in food service who have DUIs. I mean, it must just be astronomical, right? It's like
how people get stuck at places. There's a guy at that Red Robin who's incredibly talented. He's very like he could easily have moved up and gone and worked anywhere, and he's stuck at Red Robin because he's got numerous DUIs. He's got like 3 of them. And I never understood how you don't quit after DUI. Like I never got one. I mean, thankfully.
Dude,
But
I know, right?
I should have. Like I probably should have. I never got in an accident or did anything stupid. I was a very careful drunk driver, but yeah.
It is wild. I mean, that's yeah, the reinforcement. I think there's really something special there, right? Like I remember, I mean, this is not the same thing, but like one day I was texting and driving, but you know, you're like, oh, I'm good at it. And a fucking cop pulls up and I'm still kind of texting and driving, but you don't move your head, right? You just kind of like, you know, just sort of do it. And I didn't get pulled over. And then I've backed off since then because that's like it's scary when that happens or you have the occasional thing or whatever. But anyway, like for real, like once you don't get caught at something, you're just more inclined to do it, right? Because you're like, well, I've ascended past what normal human beings can do. So like, yeah, it's super dangerous.
I'm superhero. You can't touch me.
Yeah. I mean, the James Bond example is great.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
It's such a fucked up thing too, right? Because like to be drunk or whatever and look at yourself in the mirror and think that you are great company, that also, I don't think everybody feels that way. You know what I mean? Like, I like this version of myself. I'm willing to have just this, just me. Nobody else gets what I'm like. That's weird, right? Not weird. It's not something everybody experiences, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, there were times when it was like, you know, I'd rather just be alone and get really drunk.
Yeah.
Because I used to play Mario Kart with myself, like the Mario Kart drinking game. Like no one there. And literally like I would chug a beer during each lap like you're supposed to. And after each race I would fucking chug some whiskey. And there was times when I just fucking went through all 4 cups. There's like 16 shots of whiskey, and then I was like, I got first place, and I'm like, I'm a fucking awesome winner, and then I would pass out.
Meanwhile, talk about drunk driving, right? You're like, I'm fucking incredible.
That felt justified. There was also something really fun about that, and also drinking and then playing Grand Theft Auto and trying to follow all the rules of the road was really fun because it's hard to do that anyways because it's not designed for you to drive that way. You're supposed to drive as fast as possible.
Oh, that's interesting. Wait. You would like stop at stoplights and stuff?
First person mode on Xbox One, and I would just try and drive normally.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Man, that's amazing.
It's like trying to drive in real life, but drunk.
Yeah, with more torque. There's a lot more torque.
yeah. I'm sure a lot of starting and stopping.
Button. Yeah.
Yeah, being a passenger, well, as we've seen, I guess, with our video game podcast, being a passenger when somebody else is driving in a game where all cars are supposed to go 150 miles an hour, that's not that pleasant, right? Like, that would be the real challenge.
That's for sure. That's right. Especially when you're all in first person mode and you're just the passenger looking around the car like, dude, I've been here in real life before. I'm getting kind of worried. I want there to be on the PlayStation 5, I want them to do the VR mod with that game because I've seen it on PC. People mod that in, and I think the technology will be there. And in 2 years,
that's really intense because the first person mode made me feel bad enough. Like as the graphics have gotten better in Grand Theft Auto, it makes me feel worse because it's more realistic each time.
Like when it started, punch the lady right in the face.
Yeah,
like fucking. You're just like that dude didn't deserve that at all. He made him drop his coffee.
Oh, his face is actually sad. Like, oh shit, whoops.
Yeah. No, he's upset now, and it's like he was just going about his fucking NPC day. He was on like an entire like route to get something done. Like,
how about that fucking scene in video games now where they're good enough? Like, it's a little uncanny valley. Like, you don't think they're 100% real, but that moment where people can go. Like look up at you with a fucking sad face and you're like, I was gonna shoot you in the eyeball. Like I can't, I don't know. I have a theory that like graphics can become good enough that for some of us, they'll have to figure out a way to make it okay to be violent. Cause a non-psycho won't be that interested in like shooting regular
It's
people.
gonna be like the empathy test.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I think I'm somewhere on that spectrum, because what deters me, like what I don't like about that game, Horizon Zero Dawn, is that you're not killing things that are living. I don't like killing robots. I don't give a shit. You put robots in front of me in a game and I'm like, this game is worthless. I'm not killing anything. I'm turning these off. I can turn my PlayStation off. Watch this. Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, I said it. Guerrilla Games. Fuck you.
Come at Chad.
You sound like my friend who used to get mad. He got mad at Wind Waker because when you kill the enemies, they disappear into a puff of smoke or whatever.
I love
That's
that
not
part.
violent enough. Like
I love that part. That's my favorite.
I thought it was so rad.
But what about like Wolfenstein? Like you shoot somebody and you can only see their sad bodies from like the bottom, right? Like the feet up, and you're like moving around like, oh, I want to see the rest of the corpse. Or I think we talked about,
but it's just a sprite that's always.
Yeah, that like, remember like Soldier of Fortune was the first game where you could like shoot somebody in the head and have it explode, and shoot somebody in the arm and have it detach. And
you
you're doing
keep
this
shooting
like,
them in the face, and it would open up, and there's more to shoot on the end. You just keep opening their head up, and you're like, ah!
And you're like, I've always wanted to do this. Wow. Why have I always wanted to do this? Like, oh my god. It's a fun afternoon, and then you're like kind of haunted.
But it's the same thing of like you drive a car really fast in Grand Theft Auto, and you're going whoa in and out of traffic, and you're like, holy shit, and then you hit a telephone pole, and you're like, that was awesome. Okay, I'm gonna go get in my car outside now, and you're like, okay, I can't do that shit. This is really dangerous. And then you're like, oh, all right, cool.
We did have moments in college where I was actually a straight edge for most of college, and then through my like childhood, but because of my dad drinking and family addiction and whatever. But so like people played so much Grand Theft Auto and got so high so frequently, because it was like especially heyday of like Grand Theft Auto 3. This is like 2003, whatever. And so we're in the car with a friend, and there's like long traffic, and there's just a field to our right, and there's no curb, and we're just like in traffic and the street here and street there. And he goes, I could just cut across that field. He's not in like a Jeep. He's just in like a Corolla. He's like, I could just leave traffic. And we're like, this isn't the fucking game. Like, we actually had to like, I think you need to go to rehab for Grand Theft Auto, dude. Like, and also, were you sober driving? Like, it was a really scary moment, but it seemed to pass. I don't know.
You probably could have, though. You probably thought about it. It was like, well, there's no curb. Yeah.
But the lesson might have been that we were wrong about that one, to be honest. But yeah, so I don't know, but yeah, like no, that's the one. So
were they on backwards? Like, were you hearing us back in reverse?
Say it again.
I was asking if you were hearing us in reverse.
Oh, yeah. No, it's this weird, but yeah. So I don't know. So anyway, so I didn't really drink till like late college. So that for me, that's like, I don't know, 2004. I'm 19. And so then like I had some drinking a bit, but I don't know, like so yeah, I don't know. As it relates to Kentucky, I guess a lot of what I experienced was why it was not fun to be there sober. But I didn't really live there of age as a young person. So anyway, I don't know. Mixed feelings.
Is that where the Ark is? The Ark's in Kentucky, right?
Yeah, the Ark's is not that far from me. That's in Hebron Union. Yeah, creationism. It's a real thing. I had a friend who knew a lot of those people. They're kind of nice, but of course you expect they would be, because it's ignorance is bliss. But yeah, my wife went to the Ark, but it's like $50 to get in, and I think they might give you a tax write-off, and you're like, oh, I supported this. Like, I supported this politically in order to see this freak show. But also, like,
can't you just see it from like the fence and be like, whoa, they really did build a big boat?
Yeah, but then you don't see like the people on the dinosaurs waving and shit. Like, you don't see the full thing. Oh, it's bad. Yeah, Laurel, like my wife's like kind of in science, and it was like, it was like, why is the fossil record not real? And then you flip the thing, it's like, because it's a trick from God or whatever. And she was like seeing children and had like a panic attack. Like, I have to tell all these kids this is a lie. Like, well, what do you do? Like, everyone in the amusement parks, imagine like running through Six Flags, like, this is all a lie. Like, you know, you realize like how limited your agency is, I guess. So good people
Okay,
in Kentucky.
I have bullet points I want to get
Please.
to real quick. One of them, your wife, she's in the medical field. She's in the front lines of, you know, the medical field is the front lines. Just let me say it. And of something that was really bad and is actually getting shown to be turning around, and should be okay.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. Good job. Thank her for her service. That's really cool.
That's nice of you to say. I'll pass that along.
Kyle, you are, I want to get back to you, Lars, in a second, but Kyle, we were talking about comedy stuff a little bit ago. You said you're hitting the bricks hard. You have a show coming up soon, right? With
tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Okay. I mean,
I have a couple coming up. I've got the one tomorrow with the garages in Beaverton. And that's like, it's so weird because that's across the street from where I used to work in Beaverton. And I know that stretch of road really well because I'd always have to fuck off for like 2 hours and find something.
That's the one you were talking about that yeah. Yeah.
So I'm interested in that. That one's going to be fun. And then I've got Telltale on Thursday, which is really fun. That's a storytelling show that Jasmine Pettit runs, and it's always really fun. And
ooh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I really like it. It's really cool because it's all about the slogan for the show is like be vulnerable but take no shit. So it's all stories about like, it's a lot of people talk about trauma and stuff, and I was like, oh, it's perfect for my comedy. So it's like dramatic comedy. And then I have on April 23rd, I've got a show. I believe it's at a cannabis club in Milwaukee with the Amazon Queen. Do you remember her?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I do.
Linda Giles, I fucking love her, dude. She puts on some of the best shows, so I'm excited to work with her again. And yeah,
Question is, are you going to be a dictator or a dictator? That's one of her jokes, sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's great. That's right.
I love her. I think she's so great.
I was like, oh, yeah. I like when she would always
big. He's strong.
Yeah. She was really good at. Did you ever go to Rust the Nail in Portland?
No.
Oh God. She ran this Friday mic with T6, and it was in like downtown area, like Nato Parkway in Portland, and it was awesome. We got 5 minutes there, and then if we were doing like FOPO or a show or something, you could get like 15 minutes on a Friday. It was pretty nice.
Dude, hell yeah.
Yeah, but it was like it was a great room, and it always did well just because she's such a great host. Yeah, and then I'm doing your guys' podcast, Podchaost, on the 29th.
Hell yeah.
And I'm watching Snyder Cut Justice League, which feels like an accomplishment. It's 4 hours long on the 18th, but I'm really excited for that. So
when does that comes out? The 17th?
The 18th on HBO Max, the Snyder Justice League director's cut.
Dude, just gotta log into that HBO Max. I've been using the HBO Max. It's pretty good. There's some good stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can watch that movie. I mean, I can. It's not hard to watch a movie, but there's part of me that's like,
I really hated the theatrical cut. It made me like visceral. You can talk to Amerman. I was drunk and angry after that movie.
So,
and
how this may be a really stupid question. So there's this much of a movie. The theatrical cut is this much of it. It's all cut up, of course, or this much of it, but there's more of it, and they're showing all of it, or just a different chunk.
They only use the bare bones of his original cut, and Joss Whedon filmed like 80% more movie that wasn't ever intended. So his movie's completely different. Snyder had already filmed like 3 hours of an original cut, and then they told him he could come back and do this version, and they filmed like another hour. So his movie's completely different. Like there's some of the same shots that they used, but the movie's gonna have a completely different story, basically.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just, they can just do that. His daughter committed suicide in the middle of it, and instead of giving him time to grieve, WB kind of forced him out, and then they made it sound like he quit on his own terms, but he really kind of got fired, and he got fucked real hard. And then it's basically an online petition that saved the movie, which is insane, which really makes me happy. That, I mean, this has never happened in film before, like someone getting a second chance to release the movie they intended. And since he's not going to get a sequel, he basically jammed the ideas for the sequel into this one. So it's just going to be one giant epic. He's comparing it to, like, he wanted to make like his version of Lord of the Rings, but with Justice League, basically.
That's cool.
So
is it going to?
I would definitely give it a chance, even if you're not like you're not a big superhero fan in general, right?
I like that. So I like DC. If I have to pick one side, and I don't know. I watched Justice League Unlimited and I fucking loved it. I loved all of that, but the rest of the Justice League stuff was a little too serious for me. And I like a lot of the old stuff and some of the wacky shit. Like, what's that Diedrich Bader Batman show?
Oh, dude, Brave and the Bold is amazing. That's
That's a really good show. And I like all the stupid characters that, all the enemies or what are they called? Villains? I'm a narc. I swear to God, I'm a narc.
Diedrich Bader came back for the Harley Quinn show. He does Batman again on that, and he's fucking great on that because that show's just a comedy straight to the bone. It's comedy. Cool. It's dark comedy though. The whole show is a dark comedy.
And it's on HBO. It's great. We just watched the first episode.
Dude, the whole season, I fucking binged it in like a week. The whole 2 seasons. It's so good. It's one of the best Batman properties I've ever seen. If they take the movies in that direction, I would love it. Like Birds of Prey kind of did that. Birds of Prey was really good too.
Yeah, Chad, it's wild. It's well, I mean, we're quite far afield from whether or not you should watch Justice League, but it's worth it. And this is I think it's just worth talking about this. People say Harley Quinn is good, and they say it's not for kids, but I didn't know what that meant. So the opening scene of Harley Quinn is all these like rich white people, all these rich people on a boat on a yacht, and the captain is in front of a pile of money, and the captain goes, "Hello, fellow white people," and he goes, "This giant pile of money is ours because of our favorite pastime, fucking the poor." Yep. And there's like a round of it. Like that's the children. That's not children, but that's the beginning of the Harley Quinn. It's very good.
It's so satirically great. Like it's written so well. My favorite is one of my favorites is Bane. They're like sitting around shit talking Harley because the Joker breaks up with her and she's trying to do her own thing and she's trying to like get in the Legion of Doom. And they're talking shit about her to Bane. They're like, "Oh, I heard that she has HPV." And Bane's like, "Yes, most sexually active people do." It's just so fucking funny. There's just so many great lines in that.
Do you know who does the voice of Bane?
I'm not 100%, but they went really deep with it. There's a lot. Ron Funches is in it, and he plays
Shark.
He's King Shark. He's one of the main characters.
I want to know if Doug Benson plays Bane.
I think it might be Doug Benson.
Because he did the Bane voice on his podcast all the time, and then so he got the job doing the Bane voice in Lego
Batman.
Yeah, thank you. Lego.
They had what's his name? Billy D. Williams played Two-Face, which was fulfilling the destiny from Batman in '89, which is cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
But it's a great show. I would definitely check it out. It's and they poke fun at all the silly shit of DC. Like they like Kite Man is a big part of it. They make fun of Kite Man all the time. Like, okay, so you're a dude who just bought a kite from a fucking from a sports store. Like that's what you did. Like like a sports authority. Like what the fuck, dude?
They're just taking Mega Man villains.
Fucking Scissor. What is it?
Scissor Man.
Sister Man. It looks like James Domian plays Bane and Harley Quinn. Unfortunately, he's great.
Son of a bitch. No, he's a piece of shit. No, I do like him. I just listened to him on this podcast that I just finished, which is a bummer finishing a podcast. It's called The History of Stand-Up, hosted by Wayne Fetterman. It's very good.
Oh, I love Wayne Fetterman. He's great.
Listen to this. It's only 2 seasons, and I listened to it in about a week. And from the very beginning, it starts at vaudeville, and then it goes up till now. And then season 2 is just like different comedy clubs and scenes that shaped. Like there's one of the episodes is about the meltdown in LA.
Oh yeah,
very, very good show. But yeah, now I finished it, and that was today. So I think I'm gonna walk into traffic now.
Oh no!
Just how that
Is
feels.
on Spotify?
What?
Is that on Spotify?
It's on. Yeah, it's a podcast. I think so. It should be. I have a podcast app that I was using.
With Wayne Fetterman.
It's called History of Stand-Up. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to that. I need something new to listen to.
It's really good. I like it a lot. Okay, we're gonna change gears. Cool. Oh wait, no. Chew. That way. Bam. Okay. Lars, you're right there where all my drinks are. Cool. That's how I do it. So you at a while ago, you're like, hey, or actually you were more like, hey. And then you said you're done smoking weed. And I was like, all right, well, that's cool. And then so you gave me and Zach all your weed paraphernalia, and that very much appreciated. There was a Magic Flight launch box, I think is what they're called.
Ooh.
That was one of them. We still have some of the vapes just kind of around the grinders. Is great. I'll just not list off all the paraphernalia, whatever.
All right.
So
once I get into a hobby, I go pretty hard. It's like I'm as excited about the stuff as I am about the hobby itself, often more so.
Oh,
I only smoke. We talked about smoking cigarettes a little bit recently, and it was like, dude, I smoked for like a week, and I had cigarillos, like Marlboro Reds. I had like Cremas, those like vanilla dip cigarettes they had.
Yeah. I
had 2 Zippos, a butane lighter, maybe 2. I smoked for like a month. That was like all the shit. I was like, I'm gonna fucking do this. And then I was like, oh, I hate smoking. And then I gave it away. It was like, yeah, it was fucking dumb. But go on. Sorry. Yes.
So how did you, I mean, it seemed like it was a kind of a household choice for you guys. Right?
It was, I don't know. That's a good question. By the way, do you remember that it's happened twice now?
No,
I've given you 2 rounds of stuff.
Oh, no, I don't remember that.
Yeah. I was like, all right, that's it. I think the first time was like a Magic Flight launch box. And then the second time I'm like, all right, I'm done. And that was like a Da Vinci vape. Like it was much, anyway.
Oh, that was when you gave me all the cocaine.
Yeah, when he gave you a kilo because he had to have a lot, and he had a full.
And then the next time I'm like, can you reuse these needles? I don't know if you wash them.
I can't have all this cocaine. I'm a teacher.
What kind of special straws did you buy?
That's right.
Dude, I want someone to snort cocaine with one of the straw that goes like this. And then
crazy straw. Did anyone with a crazy straw?
Zach just hears me say that and goes like, right here, dude.
Yeah. That's eventually I'm like giving you my crocodile kit. I'm like, hey, I'm done with this. Yeah.
So other than just distancing yourself from the paraphernalia, what were the ways that you were was it easy to just shut it off and just go like, well?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, it's just to be so obsessive and to enjoy something so much, especially to have it agree with you, right? Like to have something where you feel better, nobody else cares. It's a kind of a sweetener, to your life. It's just so, and again, I should be clear, like in terms of alcohol and drugs, like I've never, just in case this gets out, right? Like I've never done them during the day or during work or any of that stuff. I've been lucky that way. But I do find that like, like having addictive personality, man. Okay. So for instance, for hardcore fans of Must Be Nice, right? The first episode made me so happy to listen to you guys because you're like giving up drinking. Man, it's terrible. God, you know what I did after that? I played all the video games I could. You know what? And I'm smoking more weed. Like it's just, if you're like have an addictive personality, you just get addicted to stuff, or you're just drawn. And I mean, also, okay, so you're I'll answer the question, and I'll get into it, and then we can all get into it. But like the answer to the question is, obsession eventually starts to feel like a burden, and you're like, well, I don't think this is really totally fucking with my life, but it's dangerous enough that I think it could, or maybe it already is and I'm not seeing it,
right.
Like that kind of stuff. Or just, like I'm just tired, like it just makes me tired to enjoy this thing so much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's that kind of thing. So it's like, I just don't know. Plus, yeah, I mean, to do like the thing I've only realized recently is that like from the outside, when somebody's addicted to something, and this is like as your child, I think you're like, oh, that's a dangerous thing for your health. You shouldn't do it, and that's all you think. Like, is it dangerous for your health? And if it's not, then go for it. That's not really what it is, right? The real thing is the all of the little practical shit you have to do to maintain the habit starts to add up, right? Booking time for it, making sure that your friends are down, making sure that all the situations in which you do it are like compatible with that thing, right? And then things you like get drawn to it, like listening to the Todd Glass podcast and just being like, yeah, he likes, or like whatever. Or for me, I don't know what to do with this. I'd like to hear what you guys think, but like the idea, like I like buying stuff and watching stuff that gives me the illusion of infinite time. Like a video game that's like 1,000 hours long is great because it's, I don't know how to break it down. It's like, if I buy that and play it, it means that I'm a chill enough person that I have free time. And it also means that I like, am like, that I like it. I must like it if I'm playing it all the time, right? That sounds like a fulfilling life. And that's weird. Eventually that starts to like, I start to get weird. I'm like, I like this too much and the practicality of it's out of control. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I let myself get really sucked into a couple of games during the second round of quarantine. I was playing 2 different Assassin's Creeds, and I felt anxiety that I would never get to enjoy every little nook and cranny. Like I felt like almost the opposite. Like I was like, fuck, I don't have 200 hours to explore this giant and then I kept thinking to myself, I miss games that weren't open world. Why the fuck is every single game open world now? It's like, I don't know. I really enjoyed them, but then I started, even during quarantine when there was nothing else to do, I started feeling really guilty for playing it for so long, like sitting there and playing it for like 8 hours a day or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and like everything's designed to addict you, right? Like that. Once I heard that thing where they say that every industry runs on its addicts, that's like blew my fucking mind, right? Like there's no alcohol industry without alcoholics. There's no game industry without game addicts. There's no weed industry without people who smoke all the time. It's just like that's how the industries exist, and that's who they cater to, which is why all the weed's strong, blah blah. But yeah, like having all these forever games, it's like that's where the money is, right? And so it's weird to be living. I think the pendulum will swing back, but yeah, that fucking Assassin's Creed game is dope. Like especially
so fun. But
Odyssey.
It's like I get mad. I'm like, I'm not gonna get to enjoy all of it.
Incredible. Yeah. Well, and it's, I mean, the like I don't know if they hire psychologists, but a lot of this stuff, and it has to do with drinking, all this stuff. It's like I think it's that illusion that it's the feeling there's something unsatisfying about life. And there's the illusion of something else that will be more satisfying, right? And it's just beyond the next door, right? Because I get a little hit of it, right? I mean, a lot of it, we like Skyrim, we like Mario Kart. It's like, oh, this is enjoyable. But if they keep something from you locked and you're enjoying yourself, you can believe that the real enjoyable shit is like coming up. And that's a challenge, you know?
That's almost why you feel empty when you finally complete a game. I don't know about you guys, but I remember crying as a kid, like hearing the credits of Super Mario 64, and not just because the music's kind of sappy and emotional, but that doesn't help. But there's been a few times I cry when I beat Ocarina of Time, and I know that's really cheesy, but it happens almost every time. Just the end music, that outro of Zelda's Lullaby always makes me cry. It's kind of an empty, like it's kind of different in nowadays with with DLC, because a lot of those games, like you were saying, are forever games. But
yeah, well, you know, Chad talking about being bummed out about finishing the podcast, you know, it's like, I mean, and to enjoy something too, right? To be kind of a pleasure addict also, right? Like fucking like this, keep it going, you know? Like,
yeah, and it's just it goes back into the like keeping the routine of things and having the like just having the routine and being like, oh, this is the thing that goes with this. This happens when I do this. I just ate a bunch of food. I want a cigarette now. That kind of shit. It's like I don't. Almost every single time I'm like, oh, yep, it's time, and then I'm like, why? And then there's part of me that like, well, I gotta take a shit after a cigarette, so maybe this is better for me now. So now I just I do it because I'm on top of things.
Maybe. That's great.
The justification. Brian Regan had a joke about how he's like, I like to have a cup of black coffee after a meal, and there was part of me that was like, oh, he just likes to take a shit after he eats. I get it. Okay, that's just part of growing up and being an older person.
Yeah, regularity. I mean, you do.
That's what I took from that joke.
No, I think, well, that seems right too. I mean, as a kid, so much of life is a fucking mystery, right? And like, as an adult, I'm like, oh, I'm like mildly to seriously lactose intolerant. My digestion's not great. I eat too fast. It's like I wish I would have known why it felt like my fucking stomach was attacking me 3+ times a month, you know, like, so yeah, the idea of just like smooth sailing, that's like, I totally get that appeal. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, for me, the shit with a lot of addiction that I've been thinking about lately has to do with Buddhism, but I don't think this is the place for that, right? You guys don't give a shit about, right? The kind of
I'm open
spiritual
to I not really.
I know,
But I mean that was just because it was
Maybe
bashed over my head.
Yeah, I know,
I've
right?
read up on some of the Buddhist. The Buddhist stuff is cool. It kind of teaches you. I mean, I feel like the philosophy of Buddhism. I mean, not that I've studied enough to really know, but it seems like indifference to a lot of things. Like they really just like or at least indifference to want. And I like that. I like that idea. It's like wanting things and feeling like you're owed things. You know, a lot of people kind of operate that way, but that it kind of breeds jealousy and it breeds all these gross emotions, and it kind of makes you petty. And I don't know. I try not to, I don't know, attach myself to that kind of stuff. So I do like Buddhism for that. That idea of practicing indifference toward things that'll make you feel shitty, basically. Like wanting things that if you don't get them will make you feel bad.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. So I can kind of tease it, and then I don't think it'll be that interesting. We'll see. So I'll just keep it short. But like, I've enjoyed. It's ultimately. So I've been meditating, but it's just another thing to get addicted to, right? But like, but the thing I do like about it is, you know, so people are like, oh, what's the point of meditating? The thing is, like, if you don't do anything, the volume gets turned down on everything, and regular stuff does become a little bit more satisfying. And so that feeling of like, what's beyond the next door? I gotta fucking chase this down, and in my case, like accumulate all this paraphernalia for everything in my life. It's like, oh, it's a little easier to not do that because I'm a little bit more enjoying stuff as opposed to thinking that I can't enjoy anything until I get to the next thing. Does that make sense? So
yeah, you can just normalize your paraphernalia obsession and be like, well, I got to get dressed today. I'm gonna get all my clothes on. Fucking all of them.
Can't put your arms down. Like
take it off. So,
I really like that. I mean, I've meditated before, but it was like guided meditation on YouTube that I originally started doing because I was having like really intense toothaches, and that actually really helped. I could take my mind off of it, and I really did like that whole idea of like being present and stuff. And I don't know. I got to get a good routine down with it. It's just like another one of those things. Like I'm trying more and more to kind of get a healthier routine going, and meditation is something that I do enjoy and I want to do more of for sure. It's just the practice of it and making sure you do it, you know.
Maybe the more interesting topic is like this, like there's this stuff that's exciting, like drinking or whatever, you know. And then there's like, you're like, oh, I'm going to pull back from that. I'm actually not going to do that. But all you're left with is stuff that's like less fun. So you're like, is this it? Like sure. And that's why we substitute stuff, right? Because it's like, well, like I need something of equal intensity, you know, to like enjoy it or whatever. I don't know. That's just hard. Like it feels like to be to be addicted to something is to be pretty unsatisfied, right? And that's tough. You know, I still don't know what to do with all that.
Yeah, and that's just something you come with.
Yeah,
you don't have a choice in that feeling popping up all the time. Because like I gotta often pump the brakes and realize where I am and go like, okay, don't ever feel that way. I'm fine. It's great.
In terms of wanting more of something or whatever, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, wanting more of anything, or just because there's that feeling that pops up that's like I'm what I have is not good enough, or just that happens all the time, and it's like, well, then I look around, I'm like, okay, well, that's just, I have this feeling of, you know, dissatisfaction in me, and I gotta just go like, okay, well, that's just a thing that happens. All right, fine, that's fine. At least I know that that's just a thing that happens, and then I can just move on and, you know, go fuck with my garden some. Which, by the way, that couple days right there, that was really nice. Garden time.
Good for you, gardening. It's amazing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, so what were you saying, Con?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, what was he growing?
Oh, yeah, good question.
I gotta save this thing. You want to see the saddest thing? Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a weed plant.
Oh yeah. It's nice and green, I guess. It's green,
but it's
hell.
It's all droopy.
Yeah,
it's supposed to look like this.
Oh wow, yeah, that's okay. That guy's more. Yeah, I see the difference.
Is that Emma's? Are you guys doing like a third grade? Are you doing like that third grade lima bean in a milk carton thing, and she's gonna get a better grade?
Now we're trying the Weinstein effect.
Oh no.
Yeah, I jacked off in this one.
Oh no.
The growth has not been impressive. Oh yeah, you gotta
watch me kill both of them right now.
That delt.
That's oh, dude! I got a pull-up bar.
Good for you. Yeah,
I've been looking for one, and I finally got one, and it's fucking awesome.
Over the door, over the bridge, like where? How is it installed? Or you just have it to use it eventually? Oh,
no, I just bought one, and it's in the it's right here. Check this thing out.
Nice, very
the
nice.
Beast.
It's really great.
Yeah. Well, we have these big ass.
It's got the multiple
big ass doorways they're larger than normal.
Mm-hmm.
So it just didn't fit.
That's great. Oh, it didn't work. Oh yeah, that's great though.
So I have 3 other ones, and none of them work here unless I want to put giant like drumstick size holes in the wall, which I don't.
3 more doorways or 3 more chin-up bars?
I have 3 more pull-up bars. I call them pull-up bars because I do pull-ups. I don't do chin-ups. I don't even know what the difference is, because one of them's like
chin up. Yeah.
What's a pull-up then?
This one.
Oh.
Pull up. Chin ups. Yeah. You could do, it's cool to see what people are doing online. You can do the fucking like side to side or the one hand.
Yeah, I like this one, and then you go behind your head, because I watched the movie The Town.
Oh yeah.
You ever see The Town, and Ben Affleck does that one where he's like, check this out, I can do this. And he's like,
the Ben Affleck. You doing the Ben Affleck in the doorway?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could really get like a jail workout between The Town and The Departed, right? Like, those dips. Yeah, I grew up with a chin-up bar in my bedroom. It's nice to be able to do a few, although I never got like addicted. You got the core workout. That's nice.
Yeah. I don't have I don't have shoulders. Like, I'm not a guy with like, I got layers on right now, but I got shoulder pads is what I'm saying. But yeah, I see people and their shoulders go out, and I'm like, oh, you must work out a lot, and they're like, not really, that's just how it is. So I like thought that like I would get bigger shoulders if I exercised, but I just am not. That's just my frame. That's just how that works. It's stupid. Like, I don't know. Zach walks in here and he's just like, he's just got these big ass broad shoulders. I'm like, fuck you, man. I'm trying to earn those.
Trying to earn them.
It's like everything, I guess. It's like, you got like, you can do anything and you could grow in any way, but the stuff you're good at provides like a multiplying effect, right? Like, oh, I do a little bit of work here and I'm jacked, or like a normal, like we know people in comedy who work and they're okay, or they work like crazy and they're good, but other people can work a bit and be very good, and that's just how it is. I think that the body's that way. You know what I mean? Like some people already look pretty good, and then they work out a little bit and they're fucking jacked. And then some people like work out a lot and they look okay. Like it's just, it really depends.
Yeah, and that definitely parallels me just not being satisfied with something. Like I should just be satisfied with myself and just feel like, oh, I'm fine. There's nothing really wrong with me.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
you got the apparently got those cum gutters without like, losing your mind. Although I think you're low carb, but I don't know, like the most
What's
ripped
a
I've
cum
had.
gutter?
I can't, you know what it is. The V muscle, you know what it is.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Chad,
Yeah.
that was
No,
so
I
good.
look
Do you
at
mind
those.
if I
I look
say?
at
I think we're gonna friends. Chad, we're in like a green room at some point. We're talking about working out. Chad's like, oh man, oh yeah, those V muscles. Oh man, when I wake up in the morning, I look at myself. God, you ever wish you could fuck yourself? It's like, this is so good.
Yeah, I can't relate.
I'm trying to find the space to get it out of the workout area. Like there must be a connection, but I can't thread that.
I have an ass belly. My belly got so big, it split. Like it doesn't split, but the skin, like if you see fat, you can tell people that have been big and lost weight, you never get rid of it. They called it, one dude called it an ass belly one time to me, and I remembered that forever. He's like, you have an ass belly. He's like, you can't go back now.
So it's really interesting. Like it makes me wonder if the things we're obsessed with are partially in terms of the things we get anxiety. I'm wondering, do you think addictions are all related to anxiety, right? Because for those of us who get body anxiety and then get addicted to working out, I mean, that's something, right? But then there's another way in which getting addicted to something is trying to avoid your anxiety. I don't know. Do you guys have a thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it is like, if I exercise, it's only because I feel like a piece of shit if I don't.
Right.
Like, well, and also, I mean, you know what? That's not true because I like the outcome. I do enjoy waking up in the morning and going like, ooh, neat. That's good.
But it's not as much about the working out of the like feeling your arms feeling strong or whatever, like that kind of thing.
No. I mean, it's cool. I do like if I was graphing it out, I would like watching the progress go because I mean, you can just feel how difficult it is and then do pull-ups the next day and go like, oh, it's easier today.
But not in the moment. Yeah, my mom has a totally my mom works out like a lot and is always taught like aqua aerobics and stuff. And she's like, I remember at some point we were like, I've definitely like jogged with her and I've been like, no, I've jogged enough, it's fine. And she goes, don't you just enjoy the feeling of jogging? And I looked at her like she was a fucking lunatic. And then later we were back in Kentucky and she's like, we're like shoveling snow. And I'm like, I don't want to shovel any more snow. And she goes, come on, this is exercise. You love to exercise. I'm like, well, I don't really love to exercise. She goes, but you work out all the time, so you're strong for things like shoveling snow. And I was like, what? No, what? Like, I can't. What? I don't care about being strong. I care about looking strong. Like, it's a totally different thing. Or trying to die later because of my anxiety. Like that's.
Those are the two things. Yeah.
I
mean, I do like being strong. It's
I kind of agree with your mom on that one. I started back at work and there's a bunch of stairs at my job that I work at a restaurant where it's up, the kitchen is up 3 flights of stairs. So I'm constantly running and shit. I started exercising more on my days off just so I can keep up.
Wow,
To be like fucking breathing hard at my tables and shit so that's been so I'm mainly doing it to feel better at this point, but I'm back on it again, so it feels good.
Do you ever hold up the things for Tori to beat the shit out of?
I haven't done that yet. We're supposed to. We haven't got around to doing that just yet, but we were talking about doing that.
That'd be fun.
Nice.
Yeah, because that's a good workout too. But no, it's been nice having. I started that. Ryan Danley and I started this fast food podcast, and that's like my cheat day. And then the rest of the time I've been dieting, so it's been.
Hell yeah.
Lost about 13 pounds since.
Way to go, man!
Wow, good job.
Yeah.
That's killer.
But yeah, I feel like when I am wanting to exercise, it's mostly just to feel better. I mean, I looking better at my size. Looking better takes a lot longer. That's one of the worst things about being fat is someone can come up to you that doesn't even really know you well and call you fat on a day that you're at your thinnest you've been in a long time, and that can be like a setback, and that'll fuck you up. You're like, well, fuck it, then I'll have a full pizza to myself tonight, or something like that.
That makes sense. Oof.
But it's fun, and going to the doctor is fun. They're all fit assholes, and they tell you that you're gonna die.
Sorry. I feel like everything I bring up is podcast poison. Do you have another question?
No. I like this. This is
about meditation.
I do feel like it tied into my drinking for sure. I definitely drank because of body anxiety. That definitely pushed the addiction. No, you're not. That's not poison topic at all.
Oh no. I just meant well, that's nice for you to say.
Don't worry about
that. The thing I was gonna bring up, I don't know. I want to make sure there's like links to other shit. But this is pretty interesting. So my wife worked on this Air Force base. She was like in the sort of kind of like the medical field as it affects the Air Force, and they help with like the flu vaccine. It's like epidemiology. I don't know, like whatever, 5+ years ago. But she works with people who did like medical research, and this guy had this really fucking amazing thing to say that I don't know if it changed my life, but it definitely changed like my vision on a lot of stuff, right? So he was doing research on people who are overweight and like obesity as an epidemic, right? And so he goes, yeah, I'm doing research on oxygen deprivation and how that affects weight loss. And my wife, she and I are both like, wondering about health and kind of worried about health and worried about the health of our parents. That's how our anxiety manifests. And she was like, okay, I get that you're doing research on oxygen deprivation, but for obesity, it's just diet and exercise, right? And he goes, not really. Like, yes, that's what makes you lose weight. But if you're like as a field in healthcare and research, what we need to do is figure out what actually makes people lose weight or not feel the effects of obesity. If you just tell your fucking patient, lose weight, and nobody loses weight, that's on you. That's like a 0% success rate. So what we need to do is look at a problem, not just in terms of what the optimal solution is or what like people should do or what some people do, but like, what advice can we give that actually makes people change their fucking life? Because if we don't do that, if it's just like, oh, we know the solution, nobody's taking it, that's not realistic, and that doesn't help anybody. Isn't that interesting? Like,
yeah,
we know the answer, but unless people can actually do it, it's not a fucking answer. I love that.
It's about breaking down, and this has been something that's helped me. I've been microdosing a decent amount lately. I've just been sitting on a decent amount of mushrooms and taking like a piece of a stem, for like 4 days straight, and then taking 3 days off. And that's kind of helped dissolve like my structural habits, like when it comes to my diet and exercise. And then I just started putting in positive habits while I was microdosing. And that's really helped me. And I've been sticking to it for about 3 weeks now, 3 or 4 weeks now. And I think it's really just finding a way to be like, I can't do this anymore, and I need to form new habits. It's just tough to find that discipline, and it's really tough to motivate someone to want to find it.
Yeah.
It's actually not a bad way to do it. According to a lot of studies that have gone out, like a lot of people like can restructure a lot of things with just some microdosing or not even necessarily microdosing, and like MDMA is another one that has helped with I think the neuroplasticization of yeah. But I find all that shit fascinating, and how all that stuff can play a part in like the future, and how people are going to just I wonder if it's going to be in 20-30 years, if people are going to be able to just like self-medicate because everybody knows how.
Yeah, that'd be rad. I mean, I've been feeling really good lately, and I mean, I don't want to be dependent on any one thing, obviously, but what I'm doing right now is I haven't taken it for like 3 or 4 days. I think I'm just going to keep it until I'm like feeling kind of shitty or feeling down again, and then just take like another piece of stem and then kind of get back into it.
Well, like just back in the day, people didn't cook meat. And then they got sick, and then they're like, okay, we should probably cook meat. We're just figuring this shit out. Okay, let's cook it, make it hot. That makes the stuff go away. And I just wonder what kind of things that people will kind of just run into once everything's I wonder if it's going to be openly legal the way it is here on a larger scale, so a lot of things can just get messed with, and then we can know instead of not know anything, and it's just all terrible. Get it out of it, anybody, and get it out of the way of society. But if it's just a normalized thing of like, oh, what if we can actually just put that stuff into pills instead of like the pills that are really good. Those are the best ones. The ones that oh man, they're so good. The fucking the Vicodins and the Percocets and all those yum yums.
The ones that make you pee in a bottle and get a UTI.
I don't know if those did that, but that was I think that was a cocaine night. I'm pretty sure that it was me and Zach and John Mink in a car, driving back to my old office, and we're just like one little tiny bag, and that's why we couldn't stop, because there was a cop behind us,
right?
Cocaine in the car, and forgot about that.
It's a very good story. That was one of the highlights of episode 1 for sure. I'm making my own best of, my own episode 0.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for reminding me what I said.
Yeah. Oh man, that story in episode 2 about Kyle having to zip tie his shoelaces, and then having to get rid of those shoes was very good. It's a very good.
That shit sucks. I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah, dude. And I was really proud of myself though, because I was like, dude, if I had been drinking, or I had been or drinking like I was at that time, like a couple years before that, I would have lost my shit but I had like 6 or 7 tables going, and I was like, oh, I'll just fucking zip tie it, and, and I'll just have a floppy shoe for a bit. That's
great. It's really great. Yeah, that idea. Oh, go on.
What? No, nothing. If you wanted to.
I was going to say that idea of that idea of like people like the laws for mushrooms and stuff breaking down in other places also. It's a really interesting question for drinking, right? Like, because I guess the question is, would it be better if people weren't shamed for things, or do shame and like public perception have a role in encouraging people not to do things? And that's still a needle I can't figure out. Like, I think right now we're very aware of shame and what a problem it is, but there is another thing. Like, you do wonder if there's stuff people don't do, or easy things people are like, oh, I'm not going to go down that direction because of the feeling of shame, that they're like, well, I would be ashamed. Historically, it's something people have valued, but right now we're not really doing it. I don't know. I don't like the idea of shaming people, and that's not something I do as a teacher, but
well, yeah, of course. But there's part, I don't know, there's part of I wonder if we're going to attempt to evolve out of feeling shame as a humanity. But just because, like, I don't know, it really is like people shouldn't, you shouldn't make anybody feel bad because of the way that they look, think, or anything. But
I think it comes down to if you're hurting someone. I think if you are actively hurting someone, then that is when you should be shamed. But we've got to find the correct degree to which, and which society responds to it. But yeah, I think as long as you aren't hurting anyone, and you're like, you want to be a fucking dude on a unicycle who fucking blows party balloons for people. Yeah, cool. That's cool.
You're talking about clown shaming now.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at. No, I'm not.
that's your 13th step.
I go to Sarasota, where Steve-O trained.
It's so good. When you go to an AA meeting at a clown college, and you're like, "Hey, we have some other suggestions for you. Ride this thing around for a while."
See what his hair looks like dyed green. That would be nice.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes me wonder if shame follows people's understanding of what their culture needs, right? Like, now it doesn't make sense to shame people for not having kids, or having like a Japanese love pillow or whatever, because like
a wife.
we're not that worried about people needing to procreate, right? But like there might be a time where that's like more of an issue. I don't know.
What year was the movie Children of Men based?
Yeah. 01 or wait, you mean what year was it set in?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
Was it 2050?
I don't know, but like
I thought it was 2050.
I think about that movie a lot, and it seems more
2027.
accurate. It seems 2027. That's not that's right there.
6 years away.
And I mean, I don't know, the exponential population growth. I wonder. I don't know. It's just so there's too many people.
I think it's I think we're headed in an okay direction that way. Honestly,
What do you mean? How does that make?
Well, because a lot of people aren't having kids, and a lot of I don't know. We'll see. Personally, I'm less worried about it than I used to be. What I should say is, okay. Do you ever? I'm on. It's like yes, we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And as somebody who's thought about that and been freaked out by it, I'm a little less worried about than I have been, but I'm on the same page thinking that it's fucked up and that overpopulation is a major problem. But it's like,
that's true. My daughter does say like, she's like, I don't ever want to have a kid, but if I'm, if I want a kid when I'm older, I'll just buy one, or, whatever you call it when you
capitalism.
Just buy one at the store.
Yeah.
The kid's store.
No, she says like, I just want to adopt when I get older, because like there's a bunch of kids out there already.
That's the best way to go, I feel like, man. I really do. Like I could see myself doing that at some point if I had like, a wife later on down the road. But
just adopt Justin.
What's the upper limit on adopting somebody? Is it 26?
The height limit?
Yeah, the height. Oh yeah, he's gone. Yeah. If you can get on all the roller coaster rides, you can't be adopted anymore. That's fucked up.
Is that what the movie Evil Within was about? Oh man.
The movie or the game?
It's I thought a lot of people knew about that movie. There's a game, there's a movie that's older than the game that has nothing to do with the game. I think the game was a capitalization on the title of the movie and the cult following of the movie. The whole thing, but yeah.
A lonely and mentally disabled boy who lives with his older brother is urged by a reflection in an antique mirror to go on a murderous rampage. Indonesia.
Watch that movie. Yeah. What? Just
Tubi.
Because Emma showed it to me because I think we watched it with Austin Coburn or something. And it's supposed to be just this crazy movie. The guy who made it spent like 8 years of his life dedicated to making it, and then it drove him crazy and he killed himself, or somehow he died.
There's an article in The Guardian called "A Millionaire, His Meth Addiction, and the Horror Movie 15 Years in the Making."
Amphetamines, yeah. You guys were supposed to have that at the same time.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No.
Have you guys seen the movie Spun?
Yeah, I like Spun.
Spun is fucking nuts.
Spun? No, I haven't seen that.
Spun is what's that?
I haven't seen Spun.
Oh, it's great. It's Mickey Rourke, Brittany Murphy, John Leguizamo, and Jason Schwartzman, dude. It's interesting.
Mina Savari takes a very painful shit.
That's right. It's just, but if Requiem for a Dream is the heroin movie, Spun is the meth movie. It's similar to Requiem in that sense. Like it's just like, hey, watch all these people's lives fall apart. Whee!
And then Trainspotting is as heroin, right?
Well, Trainspotting would be heroin. Yeah, because I mean, Requiem for a Dream was all ranges of drugs. Like the mom was addicted to pep pills and diet pills, and the son.
I don't know why I'm bringing up movies I haven't seen while you're talking about movies I haven't seen.
Is that more like that? Yeah. Did you see The Salt? Have you guys seen this? There's no way. Did you see The Salton Sea?
Is that with Angelina Jolie? Oh no, sorry, that's just Salt.
Salt.
The Salt and Sea.
No.
Yeah, the sequel where they brought in Manchester by the Sea for some reason. No, The Salton Sea is also a meth movie with Val Kilmer, it's so bad, but he's like it's the last movie in which Val Kilmer is attractive. Which if you have like happy memories of Top Gun, you're like, all right, still doing it. But yeah, his wife gets killed by undercover cops, so he goes kind of undercover as a meth addict who's like undercover with those cops to gradually discover their malfeasance. The highlight is Vincent D'onofrio, who plays a guy named Piggy, who has a golden nose because, as they say, he did so much gack, he wore away the cartilage in his nose. So it's just Vincent D'onofrio with this insane Southern accent.
Oh my God.
Golden. It's wild. But it's,
That's
Well,
what
I gotta
Artie,
pee. I'll be right back.
I enjoy it.
that's what Artie Lang needs to do. He needs to get a golden nose. Holy shit.
Start rapping with the Digital Underground.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you're doing, so is there a certain amount of comedy that you try to do each week, or do you kind of just feel it out in terms of how many mics you go to and that kind of stuff?
I've got my own microphone, so I feel a lot more comfortable now.
Oh, nice.
And
That's smart.
I've been hitting at least 3 or 4 a week now,
Nice.
which is about what I was doing on like a slow week, normally. But I don't know. I mean, sometimes I feel like a little anxious about it, but I know I'll be able to get the vaccine pretty soon. So I don't know. I kind of struggle with it sometimes. Like there are definitely some venues where I'm like, this isn't as safe as it could be, like, and then I try and get out of there as quick as I can, to be honest.
Yeah, I did that yard show. You're talking about comedy?
Yeah.
I did that show at the yard, and not one person at that whole place had a mask on, or even a mask that they like probably even brought with them. I was doing like, I was talking about masks, and I was like, oh wait, and I looked around, I was like, you guys aren't those kind of people, are you? And they're just kind of like, and I was
What
like,
kind of people?
You don't want to talk about any of this stuff, do you? And everybody's like, no. And I was like, okay, all right, I'll just move right the fuck on. Okay.
What is it having to wear these masks? And they're like, we're fucking liberated, man. We're way ahead of you.
Yeah, well, I was like, oh, everybody here is like, everybody's getting vaccinated. I'm just, everybody doesn't need masks anymore. And then I just like, everything was happening in my head, and I was like, oh, never mind. I know where I am. What am I doing?
Salem. Yeah. No, I was
Salem.
just...
It's the yard. Don't say Salem. It's not all Salem. You can't
Hashtag
say
not all Salem.
Yeah,
You're
you
totally
can't
right.
say Salem with a Portland person on the phone, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, even Salem thinks Salem, and then it's not. It's just, even we think that it's not how it is.
I'm not trying to characterize Salem in a particular. It's just kind of, well, first of all, I'm working on a joke where it's like,
But I mean, they are everywhere.
Yeah. Salemites.
I always got that about Salem. I could tell by playing at Cap City / Infinity Room every time. Like I was like, Salem is self-aware about Salem. And that was what was always, that's why I love performing there, is everyone is so down to earth there, and so self-aware about what is going on. And it's like, it's funny. It's even more fun because when I make fun of conservatives or rednecks in Salem, they're like, yeah, he's right over there. Fuck that guy. And I love that. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and for the most part, the people like that that comes to the Cap City Infinity Room venue, they have that sense of humor to go along with it, and everybody's like, only a few times can I remember it, because you think about it, it sticks out in your memory of like, shit going wrong with a customer or like someone there, but it's really only happened like 3 or 4 times that someone was like freaking out because they were upset. It's been 8 years.
Pretty good for like I mean, that place has been open for a number of years, so that's a good track record. That's all.
It was before that location. They were open in a different place. So I mean, as at least improv theater, it's been going on 13 years.
I mean, I've been coming there since I started, so that's about 6.5 years. So
hell yeah. Cool. Well, Lars, thank you for being on Must Be Nice with us. It's been super great talking to you.
Love the show. Yeah, keep doing it. It's really great, man. It's really, like, drinking stories are fun, but it's kind of nice when also people are like, this was a mistake, I don't like, it's not like, and let's keep, like, I think the awareness is great. And of course, to hear from 2 really funny people who are able to talk about that stuff in an aware way is great. I love the show. I'm glad you're doing it. I'm happy to be on it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Very nice to you.
I do appreciate it. Lars, do you have anything coming up that you want to mention and get your social? I have your sweet and sour is right here on the thing, but you can mention that out loud for the people listening.
Yeah, I'm at Sweet and Sour on social media. What was it James O'Neill, another Salem comedian, was just like, you can watch me not post things on Twitter. You can watch me not post things on Instagram. Like,
yep.
Yeah. It's the Lars, I think Lars Soderlund Comedy Vault is where the stuff lives on Facebook, and that's probably the place that has most of my stuff. So that's a pretty good thing. Yeah, and then at Sweet and Sour on Instagram and Twitter.
Party. Kyle, this comes out next Sunday. Do you have a show coming up right after that?
Next Sunday.
Sunday.
The closest thing after that will be the Podchaost, which I'm doing with you guys, and
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. And then after that will be the April 23rd show at the undisclosed location so far. But I'll figure it out.
Hell yeah!
And I'll definitely post about it on social media.
Do they keep it a secret right until the end?
No, it's just she has more information coming for us this week. It was originally a show that was supposed to happen in November, but got moved back because that was right when everything got shut down.
Mm-hmm. I get that. Cool. Well, you can find me on Instagram, Chad Johnstagram, on Twitter at Chad Johnson. Just type in the Podchaost into Google. It works. It's there. I did it today because I had to find something, and I was like, you know, what's the quickest way to do this? Type in the Podchaost into Google, and
nice.
I did that. And yeah, fucking episode 22. Boom. Awesome. Thank you very much, Lars, for being on here with us. And yeah, we'll see you next week, everybody. Bye.